Sean Riggs is an actor and a producer. You may have seen him in TV shows such as SWAT and Tyler Perry's show If Loving You Is Wrong. He is now the lead actor and executive producer in the action movie called Lazarus, which you can see on Tubi. Life as an actor ain't easy, and Sean joins Peaks and Valleys to talk about it right now.
They say it is the darkest before the dawn. But what do you do before the dawn comes when all you have is candles and night lights guiding your path until morning, until your sight is restored and you can see your way out, your way through, your way to the other side? You push with all your might until the day breaks and your victory comes. This is Peaks and Valleys with TK Trinidad.
I'm here with Sean Riggs, the executive producer and lead actor for the hit movie Lazarus. This is a motivational show. This is to help people who are watching this that, like, no matter what they're going through, you know, they might not be in the hit movie today, or they might not get the job today, but to still keep pushing through. So I just kind of want to talk about a moment in your life where you felt like, yeah, this is not going to happen. And let's kind of explore that.
Oh, wow. That happened a lot, you know. From even being in LA. I've been out here since 2006-ish. After my first film, I did this film called Stump the Yard. And the only thing, I mean, first of all of this is God-driven. Everything is God-driven. So to get on the first film was God-driven. But still, even when you get, when you're getting a lot of blessings, and when you're seeing prosperity right there and you're walking in your faith, there's still going to be a lot of trials and tribulations that happen that have you question your faith, even when you see it happening right in front of you. But on the surface side of things, that's one of the core things that kept me going in general. It's always to look at that perspective, have that perspective of every situation where how many times has this happened? And I got through it. So if it happened a million other times and I was able to get through it, then I can get through this one. But it's always painful when you go through things, and we're human. You know, people say, "Oh, I would never want to give up," it doesn't mean that it doesn't hit you in your soul to say, "Am I doing something that I'm crazy? Should I not be doing this, or should I give up and pack up and go home and you know?" And stop this because it's not working out. But when you say it's not working out, you're saying that in the whole broad scope of things. But really what it is it's not working out right now, which means that could change in a heartbeat the next day. I don't know if I can help when in my memory I can pinpoint. There was a time in my life where I was so down and out. And I was sleeping on couches, and I was paying for whatever I could pay to sleep on someone's couch. And I remember there were times where I would come to that place. I wasn't given a key, and they wouldn't answer or something. Maybe they, with roommates I had, maybe it could have been busy or whatever, and they didn't answer the door, and I couldn't get in. So I had to sleep in the car that night, and that happened quite a bit. And I don't remember crying. If that makes sense. It
So
kind of
what did
like,
you?
I felt like crying wasn't going to help it. You know what I mean? It was painful. What did I do? I remember that time. It was a Friday. I spent the night in my car, Friday to Saturday. I woke up. I was funky. I needed to take a shower. I still couldn't get into the apartment. I went to the gym, and I remember taking a shower at the gym, and I was still had the clothing. It wasn't right. It was just my clothes were in there, and I got through that day, and I made a vow to make it to church that Sunday. And I remember going to church, and I had this outfit on. I had these raggedy old Timberlands. I was broke. And here's the funny part. This is after Stump the Yard. This is after doing certain gigs. This is after all of that, when people are they don't see me in here. So people at home on the East Coast or wherever, in their mind, Sean's out there living it up in LA, you know, man.
Exactly.
And that
Mm-hmm.
ran through my mind when you're sitting in a space by yourself in this dark space, that people are out there probably just like watching me right now on a television screen or something like that and thinking, hey, he's got the life. But that's like you
Mm-hmm.
said, you get fired. It's like someone having a job and you walk away, you just constantly thinking about them at their job, but they don't know you got fired and you're not
Mm-hmm.
there at that job anymore. And you're done. So long story short, that Sunday, I remember I had to learn how to love myself more than ever because I had I was so afraid to always go to the end of the sermon to walk
Mm-hmm.
up to the podium. You know, when
Mm.
the preacher says, if you need prayer, if you need to come on
Yep.
down here and you need hands on you, come down here. And I was always nervous to do that.
Me too.
At the times when I was in my cleanest outfit and
Mm-hmm.
my best state of mind, when I was coming in church chewing gum, like, yeah, tithe and offering today. I got that residual check. I had a job. I'm about to tithe. Where y'all tithing at?
Right.
Y'all, it ain't time yet. Where the baskets at? Where the baskets at? Y'all heard the sermon. Ready to tithe, y'all. That day I didn't have but a little bit of money. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have no 10%. I probably had 10% in my pocket. And I took
Mm-hmm.
10% of the 10% in my pocket. And I still gave my tithe that day. And it wasn't about that. It was about when the preacher said, "Come down here." I was so far back in the
Mm-hmm.
back. I had these blue jogging pants on. They had dirt on it. I don't know why they were dirty. It's because I was living on the couch. Couldn't really wash my clothes as much as
Mm-hmm.
quickly as I wanted to because I really didn't have as much money. But I was really trying to find my way. I had this long, big old baggy gray shirt. I remember it vividly. The Timberlands were all rusty. And I got up and I walked down there. And I remember everybody staring at me like, is this a homeless man coming from the street? And I walked so proud to the front because I just at that moment, at my lowest time, I just had to have the biggest faith and
Mm-hmm.
my footsteps in. And I felt like doing that was really walking, that was really the physically, literally walking in my faith down to that podium and to get prayer. And I remember the pastor, it was at West Angeles, if you know West
Mm-hmm.
Angeles Church.
Yeah.
And I remember they were looking at me and he directed somebody like, get hands on him. He
Mm-hmm.
needs some hands right now. And I
Right.
got prayer. And I never looked back, from that. And I remember things started changing. Sometimes I don't even remember what happened. I just know I just got blessed and I got out of that. But sometimes I ask myself, like, how did I get out of that? That card, that couch. God just kept blessing me. He just took me on, and I think God just really was just like working as my agent. I may have had an agent, an acting agent, but that
Yeah.
wasn't really my agent.
Right.
My agent was really God.
So
And
did you like in the midst of that like darkness, like did you pray? Did you like, envision yourself somewhere else? Like in that moment, um we often forget because I know why, because we don't want to think about those dark times. But in that moment, like what did you do to pull yourself out? Because sometimes people don't pull themselves out and they stay in that darkness for a long period of time, or even worse happens. So what did you do to kind of,
I
you
had to
know,
stop. I had to stop drinking alcohol. I had to stop smoking a lot of weed. Those were the things I was using as anecdotes to suppress my thoughts. But I feel like those were not anecdotes. Those were actually walls that were blocking me from seeing clearly to who I
Mhm,
was and how I can reach and become something special. I felt like it was blocking me from the things that I could do instead of focusing on the things that I cannot do because
mhm.
I'm not thinking I can do them. But
Right.
out of that, I stopped. I remember it was like I'll wake up in the morning and go to the liquor store and I'll buy Jose Cuervo. That was my breakfast. And then
Okay.
I would smoke. I'm not ashamed of that. Like,
Right.
people want to walk around and act like they're perfect. Nobody's perfect in this world.
Exactly. Hmm.
So, kudos to you if you always drink water
Hmm.
or something. And if you always had it perfectly mapped out. Some of us don't have that luxury. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some of us go through things and we're human. And I went through that, and that was my choice of poison. So I had to
Hmm.
put that down. I had to stop doing all of that. and literally let my brain free, let it be clear, and let me see my vision and everything else that I needed to do clearly. And then things started opening up for me more. You
Nice.
know, I was able to focus more. It's so funny when your brain can just see things and it's not full of toxins.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking about, instead of thinking about who's not doing what for me or what's not happening, I started thinking about what am I not doing more of. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I did take small jobs after that. Actually, I took on small jobs. I was working at a bar mitzvah. You know what I'm saying? I was doing little 2-bit things to make any bit of money I can. I
Mm-hmm.
remember even was working at a telemarketing company selling some bootleg tape on the phone. You know, calling up. I might call a business, and I'm like, "Hey, you know, how you doing? This is Sean Riggs. I want to talk to you about our Dialomat. It was Dialomat tape or something. I don't even know. I've never seen a Dialomat tape in my life, but
Right.
I'm selling Dialomat tape in some little rusty little office building and making a few bucks here and there. And so those are the little things that started helping me to start getting money. And next thing I know, I had a spot that I rented out, and I just started going up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that was one of the situations. You know what I'm saying? The things that I went through, but it's still embedded in my memory because to this day I can look in the mirror and I say I'm proud of myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying I'm proud that you got through that. If I can go
Yeah.
back to speak to that younger person, you know, person then, it's just like I'm proud of him because he could have figured out a way to just to get on a Greyhound because I didn't have enough money for a plane ticket, go back home,
Uh-huh.
you
So
know. But
what
I
point
figured it out.
now is there a like whether it's your parents or a teacher, like I feel like in your darkest hour, um there are things that we were already equipped with to get us through that, whether it's like, you know, your grandmother carrying you to church or your mother, your father really kind of building you up. Is there anybody in your life prior to that that kind of really helped to, like, in that darkest moment, that their teachings kind of carried you through, or was it just reading the Bible when you were a kid?
It's a few people actually. One of them is my mother. You know, my mother. When I was growing up, I was an athlete. I ran track
Mm-hmm.
for like 12 years, and I played football. But the biggest thing was I was a big track athlete. I was a track star out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was a big advocate of always putting religion in my life. She would
Mm-hmm.
have me out. She had me in a choir at church, and she had
Okay.
me in Sunday school. You know, in Chicago, there's a lot of troubling things outside your door between you
Mm-hmm.
walking from just your house to just a bus stop, or you just
Mm-hmm.
going from your house to church, or just going to school, anything to the store. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of negative things and evil in the streets of Chicago. It's
Mm-hmm.
reeking everywhere. My mother was always a big person to put the Bible and church in my life. Not only that, all my aunties, you know, one day my auntie was making pancakes and I'm just walking to the kitchen to get some pancakes and then she grabbed my head, was like, Holy Spirit. And it's like, and I have a plate in my hand. I'm just holding on like, okay, okay. I like, auntie, my pancakes gonna get cold. And then she let me go. It's like, that's my family.
Uh-huh.
I had 13 aunties and uncles, and my aunties were big on religion. So I had religion in my life, my
Right.
entire life. I never would take that away from
Right.
my life. Another thing was Johnny Coleman Educational Center. If you know anything about that, you should look that up.
Okay.
Les Brown was
Yeah.
a person that mentored me when I was young,
Oh
and I
wow.
was one of the troubled youths that they
Mhm.
would have in a program to go and talk to Les Brown sometimes. This is before
Mhm.
he was really, really getting big and he was gaining traction.
Right.
When you see a lot of those old videos, some of those videos might be took place at Johnny Coleman Educational Center.
Okay.
Those were some of the most exciting Sundays I remember when I was young. Who's speaking today? John Les Brown. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Can you imagine? I might
Mhm.
be walking around doing something stupid, hanging around a gang. But I was excited to hear Les Brown speak because he spoke life into people in there. And
Yep.
he would make you feel like you were about to walk out of there and literally walk to the bank and just believe so hard. And you would look
Mhm.
and you will have $100 million in your bank. Though I was too young to have a bank account at the time, he spoke prosperity into people. and he changed a lot of lives. So did Johnny Coleman. That woman was powerful. If you look up her, Johnny Coleman Educational Center. That's what they called that place. It was a church, and it was between her and Les Brown, and they tag team. She was such an influential impact in the Chicago culture, and a lot of those things changed. Shaking the hands of Harold Washington when I was young changed my life. I was on a baseball team, and I was living in Hyde Park, Chicago, around that time. If you know anything about that, that's Obama has a place out there now.
Okay.
I was in the little league, and I remember Harold Washington coming to shake our hands, and then he passed away not too long after that. And I remember as a kid, we were all talking about that, like something's wrong with that. I felt like he was killed because he was doing so much. He was doing so well. He was doing so good. He was doing some good for Chicago and changing it.
Right.
People should really, when we talk about systemic racism, some people don't believe that. They should really look into the history of when these cities really had people in positions to change the city. If
Right.
Harold Washington would have lived on, I don't think Chicago would be the way it is today if it had individuals that could lead after him that would
Right.
take over. He was setting that up. He was setting Chicago up to have a legacy of people like him to super to take over as he left. And he randomly dies in his office and after he drinks some coffee. That changed because I always felt like no matter how much good you do, people are gonna come and try to tear you down. It
Right.
doesn't matter. And so, but still, it just keeps you into that state of mind of always being good to people. So
Yeah.
that's a good foundation for me. I always have that in it, and in those dark moments, yeah, I did call my mother, and I didn't want to tell her how hard it was, so I would just call her and just talk to her, and she would always say, well, and God this and God that, and she would go over like so many scriptures, and the next day
Uh-huh.
she wants me to read these scriptures. She
Oh
loves
my God.
staying in Psalms. Psalms.
Uh-huh.
Psalms 3, 5, 6. That was her favorite scripture. So I had that in my life. You know, and it, and Psalms 3, 5, 6, as people don't know, is lead on your own, don't lead on your own thoughts, trust in the Lord, and he would guide you into salvation. Always trust in that.
Right.
Don't never trust your own path without the Lord being involved in it. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the biggest scriptures that she gave me because she knew I was on the journey. She knew I was on the path. And she never once said, well, come on back,
Right.
give up. She would never tell me to give up, you know. So it was strong in that.
Kudos for you for making it through, because LA is, for folks who are not living in LA is a rough city. And a lot of people come and go home within a year because it's not for the faint of heart.
Mm-mm.
But however, here we are. You just debuted a movie. You're executive producer and you're the lead actor in it. You guys definitely need to go and check it out. It dropped. It's on Tubi. Is it Tubi or Tubi? Tubi.
Tubi.
I don't know. I say
It might
Tubi.
be. It might be one of them things. Tomato.
It's,
You know.
yeah, Tubi. Go on. It's actually free. You can download it. I actually found out it's in Canada and the US, so definitely go and check it out. But tell us about this project and how it came about.
Well, it first came about because of the fact that I really envisioned myself as an action star, and I know that a lot of people, my entire life, you know what, I'm just not gonna lie. Yes, my entire life, I saw Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, and Passenger 57, and I said I want to be that one day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to be. I want to be an action star. I love action. It's not that I love the vanity of it. I just love
Mm-hmm.
action. I was a crazy kid. I used to jump off the third floor of my apartment. I love action because I love watching action and I wanted to be in action. So that's something that I've envisioned for a long time. And so for so long, I never got an opportunity to audition to be a lead actor in an
Mm-hmm.
action film. Never
We could
had an
talk. We can go a
audition.
whole show about that. Yeah.
Right. Never. So I'm just put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I was just like, we figured out a way that we can make something for cheap but cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that get the equipment. And that's how it started. It started first with buying all the equipment that was needed, all the cameras that were needed, lights, everything, all the props. We laid out a list, every single thing that was needed. Next, all the locations where we're going to be having. Then I laid out a my budget list, the type
Mm-hmm.
of how much money I would need to have to get all these particular locations. Then the cast, worked on the cast strategically, working on the cast. We didn't need a casting director. I casted it. I casted the project. And of course, RL had some actors that he wanted to add in.
Mm-hmm.
But and I casted extras in it. Stunt people. I casted them. So that wasn't the beginning. In the beginning, that's where we were going to figure out how to get this going. I started getting blessed because once again, when God and the universe see that you're walking in your steps, they start blessing you.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, I was like, I'm gonna shoot a trailer. Next thing I know, I started getting blessed with residuals and money. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of just getting residual money and that's it. You know what I mean? And it's gone. I need to
Yeah.
invest in myself. And then Tyler Perry blessed me out of nowhere with adding me onto a show.
Mm.
Two shows at that, for better or worse, and then If Loving You Is Wrong. And then I was like,
Mm.
you know what? Got enough money to start filming. That was right
Nice.
before about I got done filming that about a month and a half before our first day of principal photography. And that day was starting with Maya. And I got through that because of the connection I had with her agent. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that Maya would be a perfect. And first, I'm a fan of her work. I thought she was
Mm-hmm.
a perfect person to fit a younger demographic, and it worked out. She was something that she really wanted to do, and she gave me a reasonable rate and situation to work with her. She was really humble about it and just wanted to be. She gave her love to it. She was passionate about it. She loved that it was a passion project, and she joined on.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout the duration, it took about a year and a half to get this project done. Through there, the only thing I can tell you is you don't know hard work until you go through that.
Yep.
Man, one day I will, like you said, that is a different story. It's not enough. You don't have enough time.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you're talking about almost giving up. All of that happened when in that. It's like almost like I had a relapse and I had to go down fast flashbacks and whiplash, everything in my career, my life. But every time when I almost wanted to just give it up and throw in the towel, and it wasn't that I was giving up and throwing in the towel because it was just too difficult. It just felt like so many people were trying to bring me and hold me and keep me from it and stop
Mm-hmm.
me. And all I kept remembering is that I'm 30% done now. Before I was
Mm-hmm.
0%. Then next thing you know, I'm 45% done. Now, last time I was 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm 55%, but I was just 45%. And as I get, so all I kept doing was just kept looking closer and closer towards the end and stop looking backwards because that
Yep.
wasn't going to do anything but make me fall back there. And I couldn't, I felt like I owed it to myself that I didn't go that far to just quit. And every day, well, I mean, every Sunday, once again, every Sunday was probably a few Sundays I missed because of maybe working on another acting gig because I was still doing work all through there. On Sunday, when I would pay tithe, when I would tithe, I would write on that envelope, bless me, bless my family, bless my wife, bless our future, and bless Lazarus. I always
Mm.
said, bless Lazarus, bless Lazarus, bless Lazarus. One of the deacons one day asked, he said, yeah, I remember you always write bless Lazarus. What's Lazarus? And I was just like, you'll see, but keep praying for it, please.
Right.
And he said, whatever it is, I'm going to pray for it. And before, on the first day we started, I remember I said, before we get started, y'all, let's circle up. And we had a prayer. We prayed. I said, we're going to pray in and we're going to go on this journey. And the last day we filmed, we prayed. We prayed out. So we
Mm.
prayed in and we prayed out. So if people don't understand the power of prayer, talk to me. I understand. I'm not perfect, but I
Mm-hmm.
do know that there's power in prayer. And like you said, there's something out there
Mm-hmm.
because it was looking over us throughout the entire time. There was so many crazy things that happened. I was just like, yo, that's just God. I mean, it was just times where I was like, I can't explain it. You got to ask God. That's just
Mm-hmm.
it. But let's just keep on moving because this project is going to get done. And it had such a great spirit and a great hold on it. And it ended up getting finished, you know. And the dream that I had for where it is right now is still going. You know what I'm saying? Like now I feel like the real work is starting and I'm not
I
stopping.
mean, it's again, for those people who think it's just easy to even get a show on a network is not, it's not easy.
No,
To even get it to the point to even put it in front of somebody, for them to consider it to be like the steps involved. And again, you can apply this to your own life, taking out entertainment. The steps involved to get to something, you have to work for it.
you know, prayer and action go together. They're married. They're not different. They're together in one
Yeah,
joint venture. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
you're not gonna wake up praying for $1 million and wake up a millionaire. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. You don't just
Um,
go home, eat some Cheetos, and like, I pray, I pray, I pray. Every good. Okay. Next morning, eat some Cheetos, drink some juice. I pray, I pray, I pray, I pray. No, no,
not
no. You got to
quite.
get out there and do something.
So the name Lazarus, for some people don't know, it does come from the Bible. So like, what was the? I mean, there's a billion names out there. Who decided on the name and why?
Well, we decided to name because it has a biblical context, but it isn't directly connected to the Bible. But he is resurrected. So I did want that question to be
Mm,
asked. It's just a coincidence, but he's getting his power from a fictional ant god.
mm-hmm,
So the ant god brings it back. So that Lazarus, of course, isn't attached to that physical essence of the Egyptian ant god. I
mm-hmm,
just wanted that name because it's it's catchy. It has the biblical context, and that's
mm-hmm,
just the coincidence, and it's ironic that it's
mm-hmm,
from there, and he is resurrected. But really, he has godlike powers from an Egyptian source, and when he
mm,
dies, he's brought back to life for sacrificing his life. He goes on a tyrant. He's trying to bring down this city he's bringing down this overlord of a city that took his life and that's trying to control his city. So he's trying to save the people with
mm.
these and using these particular new powers that he has.
Okay.
So that's where the essence of it came from. We just like the name, because it has power in it. And look how you just asked the question. Someone the other day said, "Man, that's my favorite character from the Bible. I love Lazarus in the Bible too." You know,
Mm-hmm.
what if there was a Lazarus type character out there and this is what he did? You know what I'm saying? And this is where his source of powers came from. So, that's where it came from.
In one sentence, what would you say to people to encourage them to keep going on?
One sentence. Okay. I mean, that's a good one. That's a good question. Now you hit me now. One sentence. One sentence. How long is a sentence?
As long as you want to, one
Okay.
sentence.
Wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, say 5 times, I'm getting better and better every day in every way, and watch the power of your faith in God.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. Just tell people, one, where they can find you, and two, like I said in the beginning, but just in case you didn't watch the whole thing, where they can find Lazarus.
They can find me on I am Sean Riggs on Instagram, SEANRIGGS. I'm gonna say that again because some people I've telling my name SEAN, they be like SHAWN. I'm like, you just stuck. You just want to spell it. You just want to spell it your way. Go ahead and spell it. Spell it the wrong way, and you ain't never gonna find me. I am SEANRIGGS. I am Sean Riggs. And you can find Lazarus on it's Fox's streaming platform, Tubi. If you watch Fox TV, be on the lookout. They've been playing a trailer a lot on the actual TV, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a blessing. So a lot of people have been finding out about it from there. But on Tubi, you can get it anywhere. You can find it on your phone, on your iPad, on your laptop, on your television. It's very user friendly. It's so
Mm-hmm.
easy. It's just as easy as Netflix. All you got to do is
Yes.
just click download, put your email in, and then you're good to go. So
Yes.
Peaks and Valleys is produced by Josh Rodriguez and TKO Productions. Spoken word and voiceover is done by yours truly, Lem Gonzalez. Thank you for listening, and remember, after the darkness comes the dawn.